Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the BJ and Tuds Show. I'm joined, as always, by Tuds. Tuds, how are you today? How was your week?
Good. Just got back from Maryland last night.
Yeah?
I must say Camden Yards was incredible.
It's a nice ballpark, right?
It doesn't do justice seeing it on TV.
Yeah.
Because I was pretty shocked. Like when I went there, it's my new favorite ballpark.
Really?
I've been to about 6 or 7 MLB ballparks, and Camden Yards is at the top of my list now.
Interesting.
It was beautiful. Yeah.
No, I loved it when I went. I mean, it sucks they can't really get anybody in the stands, but
Yeah.
it's
The Yankees, Baltimore, they get people in the stands for that.
Did they?
They had some, yeah. There was probably more Yankee fans, but
I was gonna say, I feel like Camden Yards is one of those ballparks that the opposing team, the teams that travel well get more fans.
yeah.
So that's funny. So let's dive right into this. Let's talk a little NFL first. So with the new helmet rule, you're allowed to wear alternate helmets. Have you seen any of them?
I did take a look. Yep.
You have any favorites?
Well, it might be a little biased, but as a Patriots fan, I've wanted the red alternate jerseys back. I've wanted those back for years.
So bad.
And dude, those helmets are just so sexy.
So sexy. I'm a sucker for white helmets. So if you have a white helmet, I love them. The Dallas Cowboys, I hate everything they do, but the white helmet, that is a fire helmet.
Mm-hmm.
I love the New York Giants one with the old school, just Giants letters written across. I love that one.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of, I thought I'd like the Bengals one more.
I don't know
if I do like white helmets like you, but
yeah.
I don't know if black and white just goes well with their jerseys, but if they have a all black and white alternate, it might look nice.
Yeah, exactly. And any of them that you dislike?
I don't love the Texans.
Yeah, I don't love the Texans either.
Even though the red looks nice, it just doesn't look that right to me.
Yep.
Other than that, I like most of them. I like the Falcons one a lot too.
The Falcons one is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I like more than I disliked.
It just makes me think Deion Sanders and that team with the red helmets. It's a nice looking helmet. I hate the Jets.
Yeah.
The
Jets is meh.
My thing is, it's like, when have the Jets ever had black? And now, ever since they got these new uniforms, they're trying to integrate black. I hate the black and green. I'll say it. I don't like it.
Yeah. And then the Bears, I'm kind of on the fence about. I don't hate it.
I'd have to see it on TV to really judge that one. But anyways, let's get into some real football talk. Kyler Murray, he's under contract. 5 years, $230 million, 130 guaranteed. Shows that the Cardinals clearly believe in him, obviously, despite struggles at the end of last season. I don't think that should deter you. He's obviously a top 10 quarterback in the league, I would think.
Yeah.
Just thinking off the top of my head. Now, the thing that surprised me here is with the Watson deal, I thought you would see more of these contracts having all the money be guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Kyler's only getting 130 guaranteed of the 230. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think like Murray's right along that cusp of getting the guaranteed money.
Yeah.
But I just think Watson's more of an elite quarterback. There's really a top tier, and Murray's not quite there.
Sure.
So I understand why Watson would be getting in, not Murray.
I saw this thing that is the Cardinals wanted written in the contract. He has to spend 4 hours of personal homework type deal, whether it's watching film or something like that on his own that don't count in mandatory meetings and such.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me think that they think there's a work ethic thing, and maybe he's not getting prepared for games enough.
Yep, I haven't heard that, but
I just saw it, I think 20 minutes ago.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely strange. Yeah, there has to be some behind the scenes reason that's implemented going on.
So the headline is Murray's new deal requires 4 hours of independent study per game week.
Okay.
So, and and I read the article and it says he'll receive no extra credit for studying material on electronic devices if he's not, in quotes, personally studying or watching the material.
Interesting.
And they said it cites or personally studying or watching material, end quote, while it's displayed or if he's engaging in distracting activity. Contract cites watching TV, playing video games, and browsing the internet as examples of distracting activity.
Wow.
I just found it really bizarre
Yeah.
that for a high level,
He might be way more immature than we thought he was. Because
that's what I thought.
if you don't go out of your way to put that in a contract without there being a big issue with that.
Right, exactly. Usually you trust your franchise quarterback that he's going to get the extra work that he needs to be ready for game week.
Yep.
I found it very interesting. But other than the Kyler Murray news, slow kind of news season for football. Another thing is I saw that San Francisco granted Jimmy Garoppolo permission to seek out a trade. I feel like that's kind of been not known, or they haven't given him permission or anything like that. But I feel like that was the way things were going anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't find that shocking news. You know what I mean?
No, I don't find that shocking at all. But I also don't think there's a big market for Jimmy G right now. I don't think he's going to go anywhere, but I think mid-season and an injury happens, which will happen to a playoff team, then he'll get moved. That's what
I was just going to say, I think that's going to be a contender quarterback gets hurt in training camp. These freak things happen. That's when I think the market for Jimmy G will heat up.
I agree. Yeah. There's always going to be at least one of those injuries, and he'll be at the top of the board for a lot of teams once that happens.
Exactly. So, with no news, I mean, this is perfect fantasy football season. We're starting to heat up with redraft season and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I got 5 would you rathers. They're all in the top 3 rounds, 2 or 3 rounds.
All right.
Okay. So first, Joe Mixon or DeAndre Swift?
Oh God, that's such a hard one right off the bat. I'm very big on DeAndre Swift going into this season, so I'm going to have to go with DeAndre Swift. The receptions just not that Mixon doesn't catch the ball, but the receptions in a half-point PPR league, Swift is at the top of the board amongst running backs. I think he led the league in receptions last year, if I'm not mistaken.
When he was playing up until I think it was week 10 or something like that.
Right.
I believe he led running backs and receptions. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And he's just such a big part of that offense. And
pretty much.
Yes, Mixon's a big part of the Bengals offense, but he's not the top priority.
No.
And I think Swift is definitely the top priority on that offense.
And I'm also Swift, and it's a culmination of what you said. DeAndre Swift is the focal point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, handing the ball. But even when he's just running little swing routes, Jared Goff is the king of checkdowns. We saw it when he was with Todd Gurley. We've seen it with DeAndre Swift. He's just going to get these checkdowns. He could catch like 4 or 5 balls a game.
Mm-hmm.
Next one I have for you, Devontae Adams or Stephon Diggs?
I'm going to go Devontae Adams.
I agree.
I think Vegas has been waiting for a receiver of that tier for years.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time they had a true wide receiver one that they could really depend on? And not to take anything away from Diggs, but you got Gabriel Davis, who emerged last year as a really top player for that offense. You have James Cook, who's going to take a lot of receptions now that they did not ditch off to running backs last year.
Nope.
They just signed Jamison Crowder.
Yeah. So. And I mean, let's not sleep on Isaiah McKenzie either.
And we've seen, as Patriots fans, what Isaiah McKenzie can do.
Exactly.
With the ball in his hands.
Go ahead.
I think that obviously you have Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller on the Raiders. Those are 2 great options as well. But they're going to take full advantage of the new weapon that they have.
Oh, absolutely. And
Diggs, I don't think is going to get that volume.
The Devontae Adams, even if he isn't at the volume he was at last year in Green Bay or until his stardom started, I can't remember the year, he is the most prolific touchdown receiver in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to demand red zone targets, whereas Stephon Diggs, he's not as much as that red zone guy as Devontae Adams is. And when push comes to shove, touchdowns, they add up.
Yep.
Next one I have for you, two more receivers, Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill.
I think for next year, I would rather have Mike Evans.
I agree with you.
And you got to also think about you're going to be drafting Mike Evans later than Tyreek Hill's going off the board. So
right now, Mike Evans has a higher ADP than Tyreek
really?
Hill. Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Well, even though that's the case, I still think most leagues are going to have Tyreek Hill pick first.
It's the name.
Right. And you know me, I'm a huge Jalen Waddle guy.
Right.
I think he's going to have a fantastic year. Mixed with Godwin's, I don't think Godwin's going to be ready for week 1 from what I've heard.
I saw a report today. It said they are optimistic. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Cautiously optimistic being back for week 1. Aren't set on him being ready just yet.
Okay. So even if he's back,
going to be close.
He won't get a full workload though for probably a couple weeks.
No.
And yeah, Evans is just so consistent. You know, he's one of the most consistent
in terms of year-long production. Yeah.
In terms of having him on your team year long, not week to week, but year long. And I think obviously he's a much safer play to have on your team year long than Tyreek Hill in this new system that he's been praising Tua, but I think coming to week 2, week 3, we're going to see that he's full of shit.
I think so.
And they're not going to click like he thinks they are. So I'd rather have the safer option, which is going to be Mike Evans next season.
I agree, and it's because of the with Mike Evans, you're going to get the 75 catches, 1,000 yards, and 10 touchdowns, and that'll be enough for him to be a wide receiver 12.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Whereas Tyreek Hill, I think that in season week to week consistency is going to be much more volatile than Mike Evans.
Yeah.
So I agree. Give me Evans. I think this is the toughest one, this next one.
All right. These have all been good so far. So.
T. Higgins.
Okay.
Or Keenan Allen.
I would go Keenan Allen. It's nothing against T. Higgins. It's just the stigma of drafting a wide receiver 2 that early in a fantasy draft. You know what I mean?
Can I tell you something that you may not know that may sway your vote?
Sure.
He was tackled on the 1-yard line 4 times last year.
Interesting.
If he got in the end zone those 4 times, I believe he would have been a top 12 receiver at the end of the season in half-point PPR.
Okay. I'm still going to stick with Keenan Allen.
And I agree with you. I think it's Keenan Allen because he's a reception machine in that offense. I think
so safe. He's so safe for PPR leagues.
Yeah. And just they're going to be in at least 6 shootouts this year.
Right. Yep.
You know, that offense is scoring a ton of points. They're going to give up some points in those AFC West games. I want all the shares of the Chargers I can get.
And I don't want T. Higgins on my roster putting up 2 points when Jamar Chase has a 180-yard 3-touchdown game.
Sure.
So those weeks are going to happen with Jamar Chase. Those weeks aren't going to happen with Mike Williams, I don't think. He can have a big game and a touchdown or 2, but he's never going to take over a game like Jamar Chase can.
No, and, whereas Mike Williams' big games, Keenan Allen could still finish with 9 catches and 100 yards, just no touchdown.
Sure. Yep.
You know what I mean? All right, last one I got for you. This is a three-person would you rather.
Oh, boy. All right.
Leonard Fournette, James Conner, Saquon Barkley.
That's so tough.
It is tough.
I'm going to rule out Fournette.
Okay. May I ask why?
Not even because of the weight thing, because everyone's overreacting about that.
I agree.
I just think he's coming to the end of his career, I think. Not even that he's that old. I like Rachaad White a lot, who's the clear number 2 right now. Also, elite receiving back, which Fournette was last year. So I think they'll have no problem replacing Fournette and getting White a lot of touches. Sure. So I could see a lot of split games with those 2. in Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
So the volume's not there for me for Fournette.
Yep.
Saquon, I love as a talent. One of the best talents at running back, but yeah, we don't know what their offense is going to be, and they also have too many mouths to feed in the reception game.
Sure.
Where you don't really need to dump it down to Saquon when you have Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, and now Wan'Dale Robinson underneath. I think Dable's going to utilize both Robinson and Toney quite a lot in the short passing game.
Yep.
And match that with Saquon's health. The past couple of years, I think Connor's probably the safest pick.
Yeah, I think in terms of
we-
safety, Connor's the safest.
Yes, in terms of safety, I think he is. We both love Keontae Ingram is the backup running back. But we also saw Connor thrive when Chase Edmonds was still in that receiving role.
Yep.
So I don't think that's going to change things too much for him. Connor's not going to have as many touchdowns as last year.
Well, no, and that's just because you can't have that touchdown number again.
Yeah, but we saw the second half of the season they started relying on him a lot in the pass game, and he did pretty well.
Yeah.
So I think
I agree. I think I have them ranked the same way you do, whereas Connor, Barkley, Fournette. Now, the only scenario I would take Saquon over James Conner, because Barkley's sneaking into like mid to late third rounds now.
Yep.
The only scenario is if I go receiver, and Saquon's my RB1, you have the potential of having a top 5. I think that he has the highest ceiling of the 3 of them.
Yes. Yep.
And so I think that would be the only scenario I would take Saquon over the other 2.
I would agree with that. Yep. I would agree. If you're in that scenario and you're looking at Saquon and James Conner, I don't think you'd be as comfortable having James Conner as your RB1 than a Saquon.
Exactly.
So I would agree with that.
You know, it's not going to be what it was last year. But and you know, James Conner, he was healthy last year, but over his career, he's also had the injury bug. So I mean, I think in that situation, Barkley's the guy I would take a chance on. But other than that, I think it is James Conner.
Yep, I would agree.
So continuing with the fantasy talk, let's talk a little first round. You know, I think who do you have as your number 1 overall player in half point PPR?
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I agree. And
I think it's Jonathan Taylor, and I think 2 to 6, it gets a little muddy. I think there's a couple ways you can look at it. Yeah. But I think Jonathan Taylor is clear number 1.
See, I think 1 and 2 are pretty clear for me. In full point PPR leagues, I wouldn't argue if somebody took Christian McCaffrey number 1 overall. Because if he does play, he catches 100 passes, receives 1,000, has 1,000 receiving yards and 1,000 rushing yards at the minimum.
Sure.
And I mean, we've never seen a player like that. So if he is healthy, he's going to be the clear number 1 running back. So I wouldn't fault somebody in a full point PPR if they took CMC 1, and that's why he's my number 2. So, but I agree with you. I think 6 or 3 through around 6 is kind of where I'm like, okay, this is where it kind of gets muddied.
Kupp, Jefferson, Henry, all in that area.
Austin Eckler.
I can see, the thing is, I can see Jefferson being a bid for going number 2, and I don't think that's too ridiculous.
I have Justin Jefferson as my number 4 player behind Cooper Kupp. I think that's a little, recency bias from last year, Cooper Kupp being my number 1.
But you have to put him up there.
But I think Justin Jefferson probably might outpace Cooper Kupp this year, but I wouldn't, if you took Jefferson 2 or 3, I would not bat an eye at all.
Yeah, I just don't think as much as how good Cooper Kupp was last year, I'm going to bet on that he's not going to be that dominant again. Yeah. I don't think he's going to be the wide receiver 1 again after a full season. No. So that's why I think Justin Jefferson makes sense to be drafted before him going into this year.
And then we kind of get into so I guess the first 5 players for me are pretty solidified. 3 through 5 is where it gets kind of muddy for me. 6, you have at the 6 through, what is this? 9 spot, you have Jamar Chase, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Najee Harris.
Mhm.
That's where it kind of gets messy for me a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think Swift is getting drafted a little too late. I think he can be thrown in late first round.
I have him on my list. I was just going off ADP here where it has these guys ahead of him. So Derrick Henry, for me, I'm not drafting him in the first round.
Yeah, I'm not either.
And that's nothing against Derrick Henry. I know he's very talented, but it's just big guys like that. The tread he has on his tires and the broken foot scares me a lot with a guy that big. We've seen this haunt Julio Jones, who's not as big, but he's more. I mean, he's more explosive than Derrick Henry. But Derrick Henry,
for a receiver though, running as much as he does, he's pretty big for a receiver.
Yeah, exactly. So the Liz Frank fracture scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
But how would you rank Chase, Cook, Najee, and Derrick Henry?
Cook's tough for me.
Yep.
Because he doesn't when he gets hurt, it's never bad, but it's always 2 weeks.
Yep.
It's probably twice or 3 times a year he might miss a game.
Sure.
It's pretty unreliable to have on a 1-year fantasy team.
Yep.
But as a talent, I think he's one of the best in the league at running back. The O coordinator said they were going to get him more involved in the passing game because last year I had him and he was non-existent in that passing game. No. He also, around the goal line, they couldn't seem to get him in the end zone.
Yep.
And I don't think that can go down from last year. So I think he definitely will score more touchdowns. But I'm probably going to have him at the top of the list because of those reasons.
I agree. I think, for me, it's Dalvin Cook. And then I think I would take Jamar Chase over Najee.
Yeah.
Because they said they were worried about his volume last year. And, I don't think they want to kill him. So I wouldn't be shocked. I don't even know who their running back 2 is right now.
Benny Snell still?
I know he's still there, but there's
I think he is.
There's no way he's the number 2, but
I think he is.
Oh boy.
While you talk, I'm gonna pull up the depth chart real quick.
But for me, it's just I know Jamar Chase is the number 1 wide receiver on a passing offense. So give me that over a guy they're already worried about his volume and his workload. And then, as I said, Derrick Henry, I have him behind Adams, Diggs, DeAndre Swift, Joe Mixon, and maybe even Travis Kelce.
Okay. I would, first of all, I would put Najee last in those 3 too. I love him as a dynasty prospect, but going into this season, I'm not dying to take him in the first round.
Yes, agreed.
I think I can get a guy in the second round that will probably produce the same for this season.
Sure.
So I'd much rather have one of those other guys you mentioned. Najee Harris. Let's see. Benny Snell is listed as the RB2 right now.
Oh boy, they are in trouble.
But
in trouble.
I would take Henry above Diggs. I would do, and I would take him above Kelce on that list.
Okay.
Other than that, I agree with the other names you said.
Yeah, and so I mean, I think in the back half of the first round, you're looking at most leagues that it's going to be Mixon, Swift, Adams, Diggs, Kelce. Somebody in the front half of your home leagues is going to take Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're not going to be faced with that decision at 9 or 10.
No,
Henry will be gone in the top 5.
If you should be faced with that decision at 9 or 10, but you won't be.
You won't be, yeah.
But at the turn, if you could do like Mixon, Swift, I love what you're looking at. I think wide receiver is so deep. You go Mixon, Swift. You go Mixon, Swift coming back, and you get Deontay Johnson and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
I mean, you're sitting pretty.
Yeah, 100%. Mixon and Swift would be a dream for me this season.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love that. I also, if you have a mid-round pick, I would love like Cook at 6 and then like CeeDee Lamb at like the middle of the second round.
Absolutely.
I think Lamb's going to be a great pick for his ADP right now.
I've seen his ADP. It's creeping up a little bit these last few weeks. I've been paying attention to it because, I'm in a keeper league and I would like him in my second round pick.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But
he should be right around there.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on. I hear you have a game for me.
Yes, sir. We're finally doing an NFL. Who are they?
See how we can do.
This is going to be offensive skill players from the 2010s.
Okay. Action shots. I don't know if I could do the headshots. I
Action
only feel like
shots.
helmet on.
Yep. Numbers are presented.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I may have slid in a kicker in here.
Okay.
Oh, wait. I don't believe this is at the top.
Okay. I know who that is, though.
Okay. We'll get there. All right. This shouldn't be too hard. There might be a couple you don't know. This shouldn't be too hard.
This guy was a running back.
Yes, he was. He came into the offense after Ray Rice got suspended.
Oh, that's going to irritate me. Why do I want to say his last name was Pollard? I don't think that was right. No. Who was it?
Justin Forsett.
That's for fuck. I knew that.
Yep. Yeah. A little blurry. Sorry about that. You got the point.
Boy. I don't know if I'm ever going to get that one.
White receiver on the Dolphins. Think about that.
I can only think of Wes Welker.
You know who this is.
Is that Brandon Stokely?
No.
No.
Nope.
You're
gonna be mad. I know you know who this is.
Fuck. Who is it?
Brian Hartline.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fuck Brian Hartline.
Ohio State receiving coach.
Yep. Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Oh, boy.
This one might be tough.
That's a tight end?
Yep.
Dude. Fairly recent with the unis here. Colby Fleener.
No, I don't hate the guess though.
Who was it?
It is Gary Barnidge.
Yeah, I wasn't getting that one.
Okay.
Oh, he was actually really good.
He had 1 year where he was a fantasy phenom at tight end.
Yes.
He was scoring touchdowns every week.
Yes, he was very good. 84 for the Jags? Is this the guy they drafted in the first round and sucked?
Nope.
No. I'm really struggling with these, man.
It's also not Justin Blackman, if you were going to guess him.
I was not. He wore like number 11 or something like that.
You know who he is.
I'm trying to see his face.
You're going to know who all these guys are. You'll know the name.
I've already known everybody, and it's like pissing me off. I haven't gotten one.
Mm.
Oh man. Shit, dude. Okay, who is it?
Cecil Shorts.
Cecil Short. Fuck.
All right, come on.
That's Christian Ponder.
Yes, it is.
Okay. No Sean Moreno.
No.
No. Did this guy play for a ton of other teams?
He played for a couple teams.
It's not Willis McGahee, is it?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Oh, no. That's not Jahavid Best.
No.
Okay.
There were a couple running backs around this time.
I know who that is, dude.
It's not Amir Abdullah. There was one more. There was one more around this time that played with them.
Fuck. Who is it? It's gonna piss me off.
Joyce Bell.
Joy Bell. The ultimate waiver wire pickup if you needed a running back.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's Cadillac Williams?
No.
Fuck.
You know this name for sure though. He also played on a couple teams, I think.
What does his last name start with?
M.
M?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. What is it?
Rashard Mendenhall. Yeah. You've known everyone so far, right?
I have. The Rashard Mendenhall, I haven't thought about him probably since this year.
Yeah.
like that year. Oh, Jesus Christ. 482. That wasn't, this is after Manningham, right?
Yeah, probably close though. He was a wide receiver 2 next to Victor Cruz.
Next to Victor Cruz, but after Manningham. What's his last name start with?
R.
R?
Yep. I'll give you a better hint. Both of his initials start with an R. That should help.
RR?
Mm-hmm.
I thought of Richard Rogers, but I don't, he plays tight end, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh man, RR? What the hell? Who is it?
Ruben Randall. Did you know him?
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
Jonas Gray.
Yes, sir.
You know, I have his autograph. He was at a Fisher Cats game.
Do
After
you?
the game. Yeah.
4 touchdowns. Was late to a meeting like the next day and got cut.
Yep.
Classic Belichick.
Classic.
This one's tough. Receiver.
I figured.
He also had like 1 year where he was fantasy relevant. It was very good. This is probably the hardest one, I would say.
Okay. What are his initials?
ER.
ER?
Yep.
I would hope if that's Antoine Randall, you would have put him in a Steelers jersey.
Nah.
ER. Dude, I have no idea.
You want it?
Yeah.
Eddie Royal.
When I think Eddie Royal, I think of the Chargers and the
Yeah,
Lightning.
I almost put him in the Chargers.
Yeah.
I know him for both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That one was tough. Don't overthink this one.
CJ Spiller.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm going to give you a hint because he looks like a tight end. He's not. He's a receiver.
He looks like Chandler Jones.
Kind of, yeah.
Is that Darius Hayward Bay?
Yes, it is. Nice.
Thomas Rawls, baby.
Yep, Thomas Rawls. And kicker to end it.
Oh,
I think
he was notorious
for being really bad.
He looks so familiar.
A lot of missed field goals in his day.
Does his name start with a J, or am I making that up?
No.
What is
you
his
want the
name?
initials?
Yeah.
DC.
Daniel Carpenter?
Yes, Dan Carpenter.
All right. Yeah.
All right, you finished strong.
Yeah, dude, that was rough. That was tough.
I thought you'd get like Forsett. I thought you'd get a couple of
I should have gotten a lot of them. I knew everybody.
Yeah.
I just haven't thought of their names in like over 10 years.
I knew you would know all the names. I mean,
yeah,
like Brian Hartline, if I see a white Miami receiver, it's Brian Hartline.
That's fair. Dude, I just forgot he was a person.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's how I felt on the baseball one. I knew the names, but there's some dudes I haven't seen in 10 years.
It's just it's tough.
And our brains are wired for current day right now.
Actually, though. All right, let's get into some NBA here. Just some few notes. The Knicks, Jazz, and Pacers are linked to Russell Westbrook. Now, do you want to give me your thoughts on the Knicks being linked to Russell Westbrook now or after?
Well, obviously, I hate it.
Yep.
What's on his contract? How many years? Do you know?
I believe it's one more for
that's what would make sense.
$47 million.
It would make sense since we have the cap room to take him and other draft assets with him.
Yeah.
On top of the picks we already have, it put us in a great position to make a huge trade next season with him off the books.
Yep.
That would make sense to me.
Sure.
I just don't want him on my team. at all.
Now, I'll slightly I don't want him on the team either.
Mm-hmm.
But I will slightly defend him. He got a lot of shit on the Lakers, but they just sucked in general. LeBron was unhealthy all year. Anthony Davis was unhealthy all year. And Russell Westbrook was really the only player on that team.
Yeah,
so
but
I think he caught a lot more heat than he deserves. However, I do not want him on my roster. I agree.
we also don't need point guard at all. We're going to put Brunson to the 2. Like, that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree.
We have IQ. We want to play more. We have Derrick Rose. It wouldn't make sense at all.
No. Now, I think so. The Lakers have said they're not making any trades unless it puts them back in contender contention, or they're not trading 2 first-round picks unless it puts them in contender in contention for the title, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Anyways, I saw a deal that they rejected was Westbrook, 2 first-round picks, so 2027 and 2028, because they got rid of every other one.
Yeah.
Before that,
Mm-hmm.
for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner.
I think I did see that.
So, I mean, I understand the reluctancy to get rid of those 2 picks. However, that's 5 and 6 years down the line. A lot of shit changes. You can get picks back.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get LeBron, this happens everywhere he goes except the Miami Heat, because Pat Riley told him, no, you mortgage your future. You get rid of your future.
Yeah.
So at this point, they have to try anything and everything to put them back in contention for the title. And where I don't think Buddy Hield and Miles Turner do that for them, but it's closer than they were before.
It is closer, yeah. How much is it worth it to be that much closer? Like, not much, probably not, but it would. I think it would make them better.
Yeah,
I don't think it's the move to do.
I don't either, but I understand their reluctancy, and I also understand. I mean, the Pacers are trying to just piss everyone away and do all that.
Yep.
Another team I thought was interesting in taking Russ, but I think this is strictly only to get picks, is the Utah Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's literally only to take his contract on for the year, probably buy him out, and then just get those 2 picks. You know what I mean?
That would make a lot of sense for the Jazz, I would think.
Speaking of the Jazz, Donovan Mitchell, I sent you this earlier in the week from a Utah-based radio show podcast. They were reporting a deal has already been done.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know any of the specifics, who it's with or anything, but apparently it's a huge haul.
And I don't know, I don't think I've told you this, but I heard the reason that it's not announced yet. And it's because Patrick Beverley is in the deal. And you have the 60-day, however many day no trade clause after a trade. You have to wait like 2 months, I think.
Yeah.
So with Beverley being in the deal, I think that's why nothing's been announced.
You think he's going a minute? Where did Beverley just get traded to?
He got traded to the Jazz from the Timberwolves.
Oh, yes. So for Gobert,
I heard that Beverley was going to be in the deal to New York, and that's why they couldn't announce it.
To the Knicks.
Yes, that's what I heard.
I hope you're right.
I do. Yeah, I do too. I want Mitchell. I've been known to not be as high on Mitchell as a lot of other people. I'm not. I mean, I like Donovan Mitchell. Me too. He's a great player.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he gets overrated a lot. His defense sucks. His defense is bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
And the Knicks don't have the defense around. They wouldn't have the right defense around him to really make up for it.
No, but I think he's young enough where you could make it
exactly
build a team around him and make it work.
Yeah, for me, as much as I love Mitchell, he's not 7 first rounders good enough for me.
No, and I heard that as well. That's what Utah wants, and I saw that, and I was like, okay, that's.
And for a guy like Donovan Mitchell, I'm not willing to do that. No, I don't care how good offensively he is.
I agree. And then last piece of news, the Celtics have entered the Kevin Durant sweepstakes.
A lot of angry Celtics fans today.
Oh, because they would never trade Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant. Well, guess what? The Nets just declined a deal that Jaylen Brown was in.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard it was Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and 2 first-rounders.
That's what I heard. Yep.
And apparently the Nets want Marcus Smart.
Yes. Yep.
So I understand why the Celtics don't want to get rid of Marcus Smart. He is kind of the heart and soul of that team and that defense. And, where the numbers don't show that, but he is, you watch the games as Marcus Smart goes, the Celtics go, really.
Yep.
But Jaylen Brown, not happy about this.
Yes.
Tweets the good old SMH.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I know Celtics fans hate it, but if you can keep Smart and throw in another first or something else that's not Smart, I'm all over that for the Celtics.
If they only let's say the Nets do a deal for Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and 3 first-round picks for Kevin Durant,
mm-hmm.
the Celtics are guaranteeing themselves an NBA Finals.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I agree. And last year they got it. Everyone's like, "Oh, we were 2 games away from winning an NBA Finals." Well, if fucking Chris Middleton doesn't get hurt, you're not getting past the second round. So don't act like your team is so close to winning a Finals. I don't think they are without Durant.
Dude, I think they could. But it all depends on, the track that Jaylen Brown and Tatum's. If they stay on the track that they're on, then I think they have a shot. But if you trade for Kevin Durant,
I think they need that little. Yeah.
Jason Tatum's now your number 2. Kevin Durant's your number 1, who's won 2 Finals MVPs.
Mm-hmm.
I know he was on the Warriors, but it doesn't matter. The Warriors don't win those finals without Kevin Durant.
Yeah. Like I think the Celtics need that push. They need that extra star power to take them to a true finals competitor. I know they were close last year to winning it, but
sure.
After sweeping the Nets, which was impressive, they had an easy path to get to the finals. Like Jimmy Butler almost single-handedly beat you in the conference finals, and that's not a joke. Like single-handedly.
Yep.
Bam wasn't doing anything. Lowry, Oladipo weren't really doing anything. It was Jimmy Butler, and they barely swept by them.
I agree.
So I think they need to make the move. I'm tired of hearing Celtics fans saying they don't need it to happen, because they do. If you want to win a finals in the next 3 years, you do.
Go get Kevin Durant. You guarantee yourself one. I agree with you.
Tatum and Brown aren't doing it for you.
No.
Don't care.
All right, let's jump into our little top 10 segment. Today is shooting guards. Start me off with, do you have an honorable mention?
I don't. I had 10 that I was confident in. It was just about where to put them.
Okay, I have 3 in my honorable mention.
Okay.
Jordan Poole.
Sure.
Buddy Hield.
Mm-hmm.
And CJ McCollum.
Oh, McCollum didn't make yours. Okay.
No, he did not. Start me off with your number 10.
My number 10 is Colin Sexton.
Okay. Yeah, I don't hate Colin Sexton. He's not in my top 10.
Okay.
I don't know where I don't think he's going to be in Cleveland next year.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really knows yet where he's going to end up.
So I don't know. I just don't. I think he's got a lot of off the floor attitude thing that people don't love. I don't know. Great player when he wants to play. Mm-hmm. Definitely. My number 10, Desmond Bane.
Okay.
You saw it last year, just from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. He should have been the most improved player.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He turned into a sharpshooter, and he is great on the defensive end of the floor. I love Desmond Bane.
Yeah, Desmond Bane was one of the reasons the Grizzlies were so good last year.
Agreed.
Because you saw, even with, like, we know the record with and without Ja last year for the Grizzlies.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they had a better winning percentage when he wasn't playing.
They did.
And that was mostly Desmond Bane's doing on offense.
Agreed.
So I don't hate it.
What do you have number 9?
Number 9, I have CJ McCollum.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, CJ's obviously a great player. He always has been. I think he's just towards the end. That's why I left him off.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if he came out and averaged 25 points per game for the Pels, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
I have Fred VanVleet.
Okay.
Number 9. I wouldn't be shocked to see him off the list going into next year, or after next year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's got a few more solid years left in the NBA as a solid shooting guard.
He would have been my honorable mentions if I had any.
Yep.
8, I have RJ Barrett.
I also have RJ Barrett.
Yeah, 8 sounded perfect for RJ Barrett.
Yeah, just when I listed off all the players ahead of him, I was like, I think this is a perfect landing spot for next year for him.
Mm-hmm. 7, I have Jaylen Brown.
Okay, I have James Harden.
Wow, you have him pretty low, huh?
I do.
I have him lower. Like, obviously, he's been number 1 the past however many seasons as shooting guard.
I agree.
And I think 7's a little dramatic of a dip.
Sure.
I know how bad he.
It's just I love James Harden, but going into next year after what I saw this past season, I'm sure it'll be great in the regular season, but it gets to the postseason thing, and I'm like, what is he doing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 7 might be a little dramatic. I agree.
6, I have Donovan Mitchell.
Okay, I have Zach LaVine.
Okay.
Zach LaVine. I have Donovan Mitchell on my list. He's just higher.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have?
5, I have Paul George.
Okay, I have Jaylen Brown at 5.
All right.
Jaylen Brown at 5. Our lists are kind of fucked up here.
Yeah, I mean, we're not far off, though.
No.
We just don't have any in the same spot.
Yeah. 4, I have Donovan Mitchell.
4, I have Zach LaVine.
Okay, so you love Zach LaVine, huh?
I'm very high on Zach LaVine.
Yeah, I mean, I like Zach LaVine. Honestly, 4 through 6. So for me, Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, Zach LaVine, rank them anywhere you want.
That's how I felt too. I think shooting guard, there's very little elite top of the board guys, but like the 7 through like 4, 3, they're all very close.
Yeah,
I would say.
I agree.
Like Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, Zach LaVine. Like I have Jaylen Brown at 7, Zach LaVine at 4, but I don't think there's much off between them.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Who do you have 3?
So 3, I have James Harden.
Okay, I have Devin Booker at 3.
Okay. I have Booker at 2.
Okay, I have Bradley Beal at 2.
Okay.
Do you have Bradley Beal at 1?
Yeah. Who do you have at 1? Am I missing someone?
No, Paul George.
Oh, you have Paul George at 1. Okay.
Paul George is my number 1 shooting guard.
Interesting.
When he is healthy, he is, and like playing well, he's absolutely dominant both ends of the floor. He should be an all NBA defensive player every year.
Right, but we haven't seen that version of Paul George since he was on the Thunder, I would argue.
There are,
and it has to do with health, obviously. He hasn't had a full health.
Yeah, he hasn't been healthy, but there are stretches of games that he's been on the Clippers where he is, even when Kawhi Leonard is healthy, Paul George is the most dominant player on the floor. I think just of the list of these guys, he can take over a game better than anybody on both ends.
Sure. Yep.
Whereas Brad Beal, yeah, he could go get you 50 every night, but he could also let the guy he's guarding give up 50.
But that's the thing. I think Beal's much more consistent.
Yeah.
As a shooting guard, I think George could be number 1 depending on the night.
Sure.
But he could also be like a number 6 depending on the night.
Listen, I've said on this show, I'm a Paul George lover. It's not going away. It's my guy.
Yeah. I don't hate it. If like I think he was 3rd in MVP on the Thunder that year.
Yes.
Like he was insane that year on both sides. Tremendous defender. I would like to see that version of him again. I don't know if we ever will.
When he is playing well and healthy, the guy can shoot from anywhere on the floor. He can rise above anybody. He can guard 1 through 5. I just love Paul. I think Paul George's game is hard to compare to anybody else when he's healthy.
He's the most well-rounded, probably.
Yeah, he of the group of shooting guards. Yeah. It's just the health thing, and I'm hoping we get a full year of healthy Paul George and Kawhi Leonard because I love the Clippers team.
Me too, man. Yeah. We haven't really seen what the Clippers are capable of yet.
Nope. All right, with that being said, let's get to some baseball. Huge news. So Juan Soto, I think we talked about it a little last time. So the teams I have seen interested are the Cardinals, the Padres, the Mariners, the Dodgers, and the Yankees.
I've heard Giants as well.
Huh?
I've heard Giants as well.
Okay, you heard the Giants. I heard the Mets bowed out.
Yeah, the Mets aren't going to happen.
Well, you brought it up when we were talking, just texting about it. There's no way the Nationals trade him within the division, right?
Yeah,
There's just no way.
A guy of that caliber, you're not trading them to.
Who's 23 years old.
Yeah, and it's not like they're like the Marlins. They're the Mets. Like they have the money to be a top contending team, and you don't want to face that powerhouse of a team every year.
No. So I saw something interesting that made me think a little bit. The Yankees, so Trey Sweeney got pulled from a game when he was a triple shy of the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Dominguez also got pulled from the game.
Yep.
Those two prospects, it seems too big to be Luis Castillo or Benintendi.
Dominguez doesn't go anywhere unless it's for Soto.
But that's what I'm saying. Why are they pulling these two guys? That Sweeney, it's not a time to pull a guy when he's a triple shy of the cycle in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
It just seemed weird, like it was too big for the names they've been linked to in the deadline. Obviously not enough for Soto, but I don't know. I don't know if you saw that or wanted. I
did see that. I was at the Orioles game when that happened. I think the timing of it makes it a bigger story.
Sure.
I think in the minors, guys get pulled like throughout the game way more often than MLB.
Well, yeah.
Just for defensive situations or
but a triple side of the cycle.
I mean, a triple is not. It's not like it's a single side shy of the cycle.
No, but still,
like people in the minors, they pull people all the time to get other guys more bats or for defensive situations. They pull guys more often than the MLB.
Yep.
So, and if it was for Soto, there would have been at least 8 guys getting pulled that day.
Well, that's where I was like, all right, this can't be for Soto. But speaking of Soto, I was thinking of this the other day. If the Nationals were to trade him this year, they would get a lot more than if they traded him next year.
Yes.
Because he still has, he has this year and next year still under contract.
I believe he has 2 years after this year.
2 years after this year. So you're saying he'll get either get 3 postseason runs with Juan Soto or 2.
Yep.
A contending team, they'll pay that extra penny for that extra postseason.
Yeah, that's why he's going for the insane amount of like 8 good prospects per team too. Like,
right.
It's not just like 2 of your top 5 prospects. It's like 8 of your top 10 going for him because you have 3 years of postseason control over him.
I mean,
at a cheaper price. So,
and if you can sign him long term, you're hoping when you have a prospect, you're hoping you get somebody like Juan Soto.
Yeah, and the idea is whoever gets him is going to extend him right away.
Has to.
So,
Has to.
Especially if you're giving up 8 of your top 10 prospects, you're going to extend the man.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I think it's a win-win for the Yankees. I would be happy either way because I want to see Jason Dominguez in a Yankee jersey in 3 years playing center field.
Yep.
I want to see Anthony Volpe play shortstop for us next year. I'd be fine with getting Luis Castillo and an Ian Happ for this year and saving the big prospects. Because it's not like we need Soto to win. We're already favorites. If we get Castillo and Happ, we're going to be in a great position to win anyway.
But we
don't need to give up the whole farm to make a postseason push.
No, absolutely not. And I think if you get Soto, you pretty much say goodbye to Aaron Judge.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I think that's the thing that the front office needs to determine. Are we keeping Judge? If not, we're trading for Soto.
Agreed.
If we're extending Judge, get the rentals for this year and next year.
Yep.
And then in 2 years, we'll have the prospects ready to go to pair with Judge and Cole and Stan.
Agreed.
So I think either way, they're in a good situation.
Agreed. I agree.
Getting Soto or not.
No, I agree with you. Who do you think's most likely to get Soto if he goes this year?
If I had to bet, I would say the Cardinals. They have a shit ton of good prospects.
That's what I've seen as well.
A lot of good prospects. They've been very aggressive in talking with other teams at the deadline so far.
Yeah.
And I think they're a team that's borderline could do something. They need a push.
Well, if they go get Juan Soto, I mean,
Exactly. They need like we don't need Soto. The Cardinals need Soto to make a true push.
Exactly. I agree with you. That would be my team as well. Just touching on the Yankees this week after the All-Star break, we can't beat the Astros.
No, we can't.
And it kind of worries me.
Yeah, it does.
I know Boone said it doesn't really matter what you do in the regular season. And I agree with him, but like, especially to his point, last year or whatever year it was,
I think 2 years ago,
we were 4-2 against the Astros in the regular season. I know it doesn't matter, but it'd be nice to see this team beat the Astros.
Mm-hmm. I'd be more confident if the 2 wins we had against them weren't barely beating them in walk-off fashion.
I was just gonna say
that's what worries me.
We're lucky we have 2 wins against this team.
If the 2 wins were like 6-3 or like bigger wins,
sure. I think one was 6-3. Aaron Judge hit a 3-run home run.
Right, but in those games we weren't leading until like the last out. Mm-mm. So we really have had no control over them.
Right.
In, 8 games, whatever it was this year.
Right.
So that worries me. But I agree with Boone. In the playoffs is all that's going to matter. It doesn't matter how bad we played against them all year.
I agree. Does Aaron Judge get to 63 home runs?
No.
Or 62 home runs?
He needs 62. He's on pace for 62 after last series. He had a fucking shot over the wall in Baltimore. He had 3 in that series.
Yeah.
But
he's always killed the Orioles.
No, I don't think he gets there.
I don't think so either. It's just
and like he's been less of a streaky hitter this year because usually everyone on the Yankees is a streaky hitter.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll hit a weak lull where he hits like maybe only 1 home run.
Yeah,
that's just going to do it for him.
Right.
I think you'll get 55, 56.
I was going to say I think he's well into the 50s, but I don't know if he even touches like 58, 59.
Right. Yeah, I think even 58, 59 would be extraordinary. I think 55 is very reasonable.
Yeah. I agree. I just
there's a reason no one's beaten it since Roger Maris, and I think it was in 1961 he had 61, if I'm right.
Oh, really?
So it's been about 60 years.
Right. So I mean, they have 65 games left. He's at what, 37 home runs?
37. Yep.
Needs 25 in 65 games. I mean, I don't want to bet against the man, but I just don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening. He has had many multi-home run games this year, which helps him in the chase because even if he goes 4 or 5 games without hitting one, he hits 2 the next day, and boom, he's right back on track.
Right.
So
it's just too much, too little time, I think. You know what I mean? But anyways, let's jump to some most surprising teams, most disappointing teams in baseball, and then we'll get out of here. Who is one of your more surprising teams this year?
So the surprising team's got to be the Baltimore Orioles, right?
That's the team I had on my list as well.
They're 1 game under 500.
Yeah.
A week after the All-Star break. No one ever would have had them here. Nope. Let me check the wild card. They're 3.5 games out of the last wild card spot.
Yeah, it's
pretty
crazy.
Incredible.
So the Yankee they lost one of the Orioles. Correct.
They lost the second game. Yep.
Yeah, and I was like, "What the hell? We just lost to the Orioles," and I was like, "Wait, the Orioles are actually like not bad this year."
The Orioles have a decent record against AL East.
Yeah,
like we have the best record against
the Red Sox, probably.
Yeah. So
the Orioles
not a free win anymore like they used to be. You gotta play. You gotta play them hard.
I agree. Do you have any more surprising teams?
Not really. I have a couple of disappointing teams.
So I have the Yankees in my surprising because I didn't think they were going to be this good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were going to be good, but not this good.
Yeah.
So it's not a little bit of a different surprise, but you know what I mean?
Definitely a surprise though. Yep.
All right, let's jump to disappointing. I have 3 of them and I bet they're all the same.
Angels gotta be up there.
Oh my God. Number 1.
Especially because I remember before the season, I was like, I'm not convinced. That pitching always fucks it up. And then they started off very well.
Yeah.
They were like the top wild card spot for a month.
It was them them and the Astros for the 1 seed in that division there.
Yeah, and then they just fell apart.
They went into that 14-game losing or whatever. What was it? 20 games?
I think it was like 14. Sounds right.
Yeah, it just unreal. Unreal. Another one I have is the White Sox.
Me too.
I mean, I think they should be well above 500. They're sitting at 500 right now. The division was theirs for the taking, and I'm kind of at the point where you're at. I don't know if they turn around at this point.
And the thing is, like, the division's been in reach for them all year. It's not like they're getting buried by the Twins. They're 4 games back right now.
Right.
But they're just not doing anything to make the jump. They're staying around 500.
Nope.
They're losing games they should win every week.
I agree.
And they have the talent. It's just the coaching is not great. La Russa, I'm shocked he's still there.
I agree, actually.
They have great pitching. Yeah, there's just something off about that team.
Yeah, and the last team I have is the Boston Red Sox. On paper, this team, the lineup, especially that's a good lineup. They have a great lineup. I know the pitching's not there, but the beginning of the season when they were losing a bunch of games, the pitching was keeping them in games. They couldn't hit the ball.
Yeah, their starting pitching was fine to start the year. That they really couldn't hit at all the first 2 weeks. And then their offense was among the best in baseball after that.
Right. And now they just can't field.
Yeah, their defense is atrocious.
It's so bad.
It's so bad. But you kind of could have expected that. Devers was playing better at third, but still I think leads the MLB in errors.
Yeah, Bogarts is not a stud defensively.
Jalen Duran, who every Sox fan thought he was going to be a great center fielder, he does not know how to track a baseball.
Dude, it seems like I don't know what's going on at Fenway, but nobody can track fly balls.
Yeah, even
it happened to LeMahieu. Christian Arroyo, I think that was also the Yankee series.
Yeah, yep.
Jaron Duran this past weekend against the Blue Jays.
Yeah, but that Duran one was hilarious, by the way. But not even when he loses the lights, him just tracking fly balls. I've seen many instances where he just misplays line drives and easy catches. He dives and misses where he shouldn't even have to dive in the first place.
Agreed.
So a lot of problems with defense, and it's kind of on Chaim Bloom where you go in and you have Bobby Dahlbeck who can't hit and isn't good at fielding, and you're playing Franchi. You're playing Franchi at first, who sucks there and can barely hit as well.
Well, it's they're doing the whole Moneyball thing. Anybody can play first.
Yeah.
Clearly, not everybody can play first base.
The Sox fan base needs to stop pretending that Bloom is doing the same and having the same success he did in Tampa.
No.
Because their bullpen sucks.
Yeah.
The playing players out of position isn't working.
No.
And I see so many fans still defend him. He's not doing the same shit he was doing in Tampa.
I heard the Red Sox may go full sell mode at the deadline.
They should because they have JD Martinez on the last year of his deal.
I think JD would be smart to get rid of.
JD they have to. Evaldi they should get rid of.
Evaldi they should as well.
And Bogarts is an interesting one. He's an interesting
Bogarts
one.
I'm on the fence about.
Yeah.
But I think they have to re-sign Devers.
Yes, that's priority number one.
If they go full sell and they get rid of Rafael Devers, they're going to be what the Baltimore Orioles were for the past however many years.
There's no way.
I just don't see them doing it. You're the Boston Red Sox. Full sell shouldn't even be a thought.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just shouldn't be a thing for there's just the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Red Sox. There's just teams that should never sell.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't even see why that's a thing.
Yeah. I think JD's definitely gone.
I think so too. And I think that makes sense for everybody involved. Let him go.
I know the Dodgers already reached out and asked about him.
Oh, really? Of course the Dodgers reached out.
Yeah, the Dodgers actually want fucking everyone. It used to be the Yankees, everybody the Yankees just get everyone. No, the Dodgers literally asked for everyone.
That the Yankees stopped getting everybody after George Steinbrenner died.
Yeah, yep.
Now the Dodgers pay everybody whatever they want. They get whoever
the Dodgers are already stacked and already paying so much, and they're asking about Castillo. They're asking about JD. They just don't stop.
I don't tell me there's a salary cap if I can just go do whatever I
And
want.
they're in on Soto too. Like, bro,
It's like, where are you getting his money?
honestly, just relax. You have a good team.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But baseball hopes. I pray we get Ian Happ, Benintendi, one of the two, and Luis Castillo, and maybe a
Castillo's the number
reliever, Michael
one.
King. We didn't talk about Michael King.
We didn't
Tragedy.
talk about Michael King.
That's so bad.
Massive loss for us, and that's why I think the Ian Happ makes so much sense, because you can throw in David Robertson, who has played great in New York in the past for us.
Yeah.
Is going to get dealt at the deadline.
Yep.
A lot of teams want him.
Mm-hmm.
If we can just throw in an extra prospect for Happ and Robertson, that fills two massive needs for us. That's a trade we need to get done.
Agreed.
Robertson and Happ.
Agreed. I mean, Michael King was our second best reliever, pretty handily.
Yeah, definitely.
Another note, send Aroldis Chapman to the moon. I don't really care. He can't pitch anymore.
Yep.
DFA him. I just don't want him on the team right now.
If Chapman could have got through one inning without being horrible, Michael King would have never been in the game.
Yeah, but he broke it. I agree with you, but it broke throwing.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a time bomb just waiting to go off.
I guess you could say that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where it was going to happen eventually. Unfortunately, it seems like.
But the Yankees went from beginning of the year, any person we throw out of the pen is going to be shut down, to now, like, we have Clay Holmes, and like, who else do we trust really?
Who else do I trust?
It's getting scary. Yeah, like Wandy Peralta is probably our number 2 now out of the pen.
I like Clark Schmidt a lot, but
I like Clark Schmidt too.
Him.
Yeah,
they refuse.
Lucas Lucky's been very good for us lately.
But yeah, other than that,
like Loiza's looked bad.
Yeah, if he could get not to what he was last year, but just
better,
like just slightly better,
He can't get through an inning without letting like 2 guys on, and we need Loiza to be back to last year's form.
I agree.
Or close to it.
I agree. So let's pray we get everything we want at the deadline.
Yep.
Pray we get everything we want.
By next episode, I think next Monday is August 2nd.
Yep.
So this should be an interesting day.
I agree. Thank you all for joining and tuning in to another episode of the BJ in Touch Show.